You're watching college basketball here on ESPN Plus, and we got a great matchup today here in Abilene, Texas at the Moody Coliseum as it's the ACU Wildcats taking on the Knights of Southwestern Adventist. So we welcome you to the broadcast here on ESPN Plus. James Traley and Ron Holmes. Ron, we look at this matchup here in the early part of the season. What are we looking at?
Southwest Adventist is probably going to treat this as it's their Super Bowl. They're going to have to play a little bit above their head, being from the league that they're from traditionally. Now, Abilene Christian, on the other hand, they need to keep doing the good habits that they've gotten into to make themselves 3-0, because next week is huge.
Yeah, it should be a good one to watch as we have a couple impact players to take a look at between these two teams. We turn things over immediately to that. For the Knights, we look at some good scoring also from Abilene Christian, Doria and Hubbard.
Yeah, Ruben Doria is a Manville product out of Houston. Leading scorer, 21 points. You can see right there. That means he shoots a lot, but he's got a lot of handles as well, and nice rebound stats. Hubbard, on the other hand, is a nice guy, nice presence inside, outside guy for the Wildcats. Preseason first-team all-conference in the WAC.
Two guys who should be fun to watch. Now we turn things over to our sideline reporter, Josiah Wanell. Josiah?
Thanks, guys. This evening's matchup between the Wildcats and the Knights has the Wildcats coming in undefeated through their first two matchups. That includes a win back in the season opener against McMurray and an eventual nail-biter 73-71 win over Omaha last Thursday. Head coach Brett Tanner said this start to the season is huge, but emphasizes the luxury of playing home games. The first three games were at home for him, including this final one before they hit the road later this week. If that sounds familiar, a 2-0 start, well, go back to the 2020-2021 season in which the Wildcats started 2-0 in an eventual NCAA tournament bid, as well as an eventual historic win over the University of Texas. James, back to you.
Patterns, there's a lot of things that need to change, so this is a good test.
And ACU gets on the board here early on as Joseph Van Zant with the first points of the game. We'll take a look at Southwestern Adventist. Already talked about Ruben Doria, how much of a playmaker and a scorer he is for this Knights team. We have scoring here, starting out with Andre Guajardo-Mancia.
You know, that both teams starting out in man, it's a little surprising. I figured that Southwest might start in the zone and you want to bring down the level of play and negate some of the athleticism that the Wildcats have.
You see the starting five by Abilene Christian here today. We take a look, a tie game here in the early on. We'll pass on out, top of the key, now go to the corner. Try and find that open lane. They'll pass on out, working tight defense and just losing the handle at the last second. There was Hubbard. Hubbard, we talked about in the pregame, an impact player, a scorer, a definite threat on the court anytime he's out there.
You know, the last game against Nebraska-Omaha, the Wildcats only had 8 turnovers at half. They played the next 12, 13 minutes with no turnovers to start the second half. So cutting down on turnovers will be a big deal. You don't want this game to get sloppy.
They also, Coach Tanner talked about how much of a big comeback win that was for the Wildcats. The Southwestern advances a clean 3 that time. And again, Guajardo-Mancia putting up some points and giving them the 3-point advantage.
Guajardo's pretty smooth. He just sits out there like he's been doing this, not his first 3-pointer.
It's a good team, well-rounded. And that's Tyler Wooldridge in his 7th season putting together this squad here today. The miss there by the Wildcats, still trailing by 3 in the early going. So Southwestern Adventist looks to keep things going. Nice job on the rebound there. Again, tight defense we've seen by the Wildcats early on, but it's been good managing. And Guajardo-Mancia, again, a clean look, but a better second chance effort that time as Dominique Wilkins was in there trying to make a play on the rebound, but ACU now taking it the other way.
Hey, the Wildcats, they're going to need to look up Guajardo next time down the floor. They're starting to squeeze him a little bit. They're not giving him that open look.
The layup is good this time from the Wildcats. Vin Zant, all 4 points so far for ACU, scored by him, the 6'2" guard out of Midland, Texas. You see once again Guajardo with possession. We'll have to see, again, just like you talked about, Ron, how tight are they going to start playing him? He's going to be open. He's going to take that opportunity.
It won't be for long. It'll be, John Wooden used to say the bench is well, now we're talking about horse and intramural shots. Now, that was a good shot. I mean, that was, you know, I talk about in the beginning, you and I were visiting, their chance, Southwest's chances hinge on open space. If they start getting crowded, they get crowded by bigger bodies. So they're trying to avoid that as much as possible.
A lot of contact there from Vin Zant. That was Ruben Doria, talked about him as well in the pregame, an impact player, likes to drive towards the hoop and does not fear the contact either.
No, I think he looks for contact, just as I got through saying most of the team would probably try to avoid it, but he's averaging 21, almost 22 points a game, and he's gotten some of that at the free throw line.
Let's see how he is starting off. First chance, charity stripe here today, and 1 for 1 starting on out. Dory, the Houston, Texas product, and so well-rounded and off to a good start here so far.
A lot of products come out of Houston. A lot of products come out of the area where you're from, Mansfield.
Yeah, the DFW area has produced plenty of talent. A lot of Texas talent as well. Southwestern Adventist from the Keene area. Pass on out, working in the paint this time. Double, almost triple covered, but working around that defense and able to get the points. And ACU gets 2 on the board. Mashai Hill that time.
Yeah, Mashai, this needs to be a year for him to blossom. He has been a project for the last 2 years. He's put on a lot of weight. He has religiously worked out in the weight room, done a nice job. He's going to make a player out of himself, but all he needs is time.
Hill 6'8", 250, the junior out of Austin, Texas. So you see again the Texas talent traveling all over, finding the best abilities, find ways to win. It's a 2-0 start to the season for ECU, 3-1 for Southwestern Adventist, and crashing, almost going upended that time, but luckily Dye staying on his feet.
Well, they have big plans for Dye here at ACU.
We're going to take a short timeout. We'll be right back. Early going, 9-6. The Knights lead the Wildcats here on ESPN+. Fans, don't forget, courtesy of Texas 14. 5, Abilene, Texas. We're at the Moody Coliseum. The Southwestern Adventist Knights lead 9-6 over ACU. It's a beautiful weather out in Abilene. Now we take a look at our keys to the game, and Ron, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but creating that open space, that's going to be the key for the Knights.
Yeah, I think it is for the Knights. They want to avoid contact as much as they can, 1 through 10. And then they need a high shooting percentage because they're going to take a lot of threes. And on the other hand, the Wildcats need to stay the course. They've developed really good habits to be 3-0. They need to stay the course with that. They have a big week next week.
Keeping the status quo is the name of the game for the Wildcats. They trail by 3 here in the early going. They'll see if they can keep the tempo, pick the tempo up a little bit. Dial passed on out. They work it around a wide open shot on the left side.
Yeah, Van Zandt, that's a plus when he can shoot a high percentage. He is a human enzyme, James.
Well, that's 7 points already for Van Zandt to tie the game at 9 apiece.
Fine player, quick. He always draws the toughest assignment.
Aiden McCowan now driving towards, works under the rim that time, and it works just around. Now ACU will try and take the lead. A strong pass this time to Hill going under the rim, and ACU taking the 11-9 lead.
Little mini run.
Let's see if Southwestern Adventist can respond, and going just a bit short off the right side that time from Doria. He worked aggressive, but again, trying to pick up that tempo, change the pace a little bit on the Wildcat defensive front. Pass on out, an errant pass that time. AC will try and respond, slow things down just a bit.
They're going to run some sets, a little high pick and roll, a screen right here, flare and a cut, and a steal.
Trying to work it here. It's Dye for three. Yes. Dye knocks this one down. Make it a 5-point advantage.
He's just a freshman. He's got a senior's body.
Where he operates kind of like the veteran presence that Tanner talks about. Now we've got to travel this time. There's a lot of contact with Doria and Smith, but moving the feet a little bit too quick that time for Doria.
Well, yeah, they anticipate the cross-court pass right there over the top of the defense and trying to find the gap that would be open so they could get a shot. And then ACU, Tanner's defense is tops in the nation nearly every year. The closeout is extraordinary.
See Dye there setting a nice screen for his teammate Tylen Lewis. Now pass back to Dye for three. Did it once, cannot do it twice. And a foul called here. It's been a nice run. You talk about this being a game of runs, and you've seen the 10-0 run over the last 2 minutes and change for ACU, the way they've gone out there and scored.
Well, they've taken their time moving the ball around a little bit, and the more passes, they make the defense take a step back, and they're getting inside the paint. And if it gets down to second and third shots, it'll be a long day for Southwest.
They have Zai right at the line, 6'5" guard out of Lincolnton, Georgia. It's 1 for 1, make him 2 for 2 from the line.
Little token full court pressure by the Wildcats. This isn't going to bother Southwest.
They're going to step up to the challenge.
That's what they want right there.
That's exactly what they want. They made that look easy. A.J. Aviles, the senior guard out of West New York, New Jersey, puts 2 on to make it 5-point deficit they face. Again, we're seeing that tight defense once again. Knights not backing down to the Wildcats here in the early going. No reason they should either.
Little high screen. There's your roll, pick and roll.
There you go, a wide open shot, right, left side, and this one can't quite go, so the Knights will take over on offense. Trying to chip away at that deficit by 5. That 12-2 run. Doria, 3-point attempt, misses here, and right there, pass on out, able to get the layup. That's Evan Lopez, got the pass from Guajardo. That's stick-to-itiveness by the Knights.
Well, a lot of respect, a lot of admiration for a team that's smaller in stature. But look at this, they don't quit, they don't back down. They're here to win. Now they're a little outmatched. I mean, I think everyone in the gym knows that. But like I said, you know, we were talking, some schools call this their Super Bowl.
And if they're playing that way, it's worked out with their effort level and keeping it close here in the early going. Wave that one off, foul called on the contact there. It looks like that was on Lewis as he was traveling towards the lane.
Yeah.
Take another look.
A lot of contact. If you can get it going towards the basket, that's a good call.
The inbound knocked out that time. Looks like another one called on number 5 as Guajardo still the leading scorer with 7. 1 point there on quite the scoring drought, able to put some points on the board and work a bit quicker against the Wildcats. Now the inbound here to get out to right. They work it back to Dye at the top. Recently checked in is Cade Horniker. Well, pass on out, Dye, nice bounce pass and working towards the net. They get it, Zy Wright.
Yeah, it's that's not a good thing for Southwest if ACU gets it in the paint like that. But I was watching Guajardo during the warm-ups. That's one player I would not want to get in a horse contest with if I had money. You know, money going. You know, there's 2 people you don't want to play. You don't want to play the manager of your basketball team in a game of horse, or your best shooter.
Well, that's one of the things they talked about with Guajardo, and you mentioned how smooth that shot is, and it paid off in the early going, getting 7 points on the board, and at 1 point taking a nice 3-point advantage.
Well, he's got to have time to shoot that smooth shot, and he had it early on. We'll see what going forward.
I'll see if ACU can make that defensive adjustment. Looks like they have. They've kind of shut down Guajardo just a little bit, but he has stuck with it throughout the most point of this game. They work it over on that far side, now trying to go under the rim and falling hard to the ground. A foul called. Well, it's 18-13. Abilene Christian right now with the early advantage. 5 points they have. We'll take a short timeout. We'll come right back here on ESPN+. Brett Tanner's Wildcats up 18-13 and 11:49 left to play here in the first half. Our sideline reporter and Josiah Wanell has a story on our head coach for the Wildcats. Josiah, what do you got?
Hey guys, on Thursday when Omaha was defeated by Abilene Christian 73-71, head coach Brett Tanner was very excited and very adamant that that was a big moment, a big finish for his guys. He had high praise for his crew. He said he's never seen them execute so well out of a timeout. He said you don't usually see things like that this early in the year, and the way that they were able to handle that situation and not panic, he was extremely impressed. He said we had unbelievable composure down the stretch. He said the most important thing now, turn the page, move on to the next page. That's what they look forward to doing in this afternoon's matchup. Back to you guys.
Again, a lot of positive energy. His team right now undefeated in the early going is knocking the first free throw in. There is Rivera, recently checked in. Tanner talked very highly of the success and the comeback stick-to-itiveness that his team has had. Now 2 for 2 Rivera goes to make it a 7-point advantage.
That was a watermark game to start the season. Little token pressure again by the Wildcats. This won't give Southwest any trouble.
Step back there, trying to work against a 7-foot Horniker, and almost stolen away. Still a free play going here. Crashing hard are the Wildcats. Looks like that was right into the sideline. Somehow the Knights still stick with it. Gloria passes it on out.
Horniker's guarding Guajardo at the 3-point line.
Well, Guajardo.
That's a 7-foot guarding a 6'5".
I think we've seen it all in one day, not even a full 10 minutes through this matchup. And Wildcats get the layup that time, 22-13, 9-point advantage. Now Guajardo will start off trying to cut into that deficit just a little bit. Wildcats right now with Aiden McCowan, Arlington, Texas product.
One of the keys to the game that you and I talked about would be what they're trying to do right now. They have to hit the open shot. They're not going to get too many second shots.
Yeah, and they try and make something out of nothing there. And ACU's going to try and work quick. Gloria trying to get a takeaway that time. Now working against the Wildcats. Work that right side. Horniker passes on out. Open shot, top of the key. They go around the horn, and the three-pointer pass back on out. Nice rebound there by Horniker. Second chance effort and a great layup that time from the Wildcats and Rich Smith.
Rich Smith has another level in him, I tell you. He finds a gap, he's gone. If he can get the layup, he's not the greatest jump shooter on the team, but boy, he can find a gap and go.
Gloria trying to set the offense right now, try and get a screen that time from Lopez as Guajardo gets it back. 8 seconds left on the shot clock, trying to work towards the paint. ACU not letting him get an easy lane. Three-pointer just left side off that rim. ACU works it quick down the other way, using that speed advantage against the Knights, and it's worked out in favor of ACU. 26-13 lead and a timeout called.
Speed and size there.
We'll take a look and see that last play. I mean, my goodness. Again, the speed really just ended up killing the Knights there, and that's something that they're going to have to adjust on. That's kind of one of the things we see with this timeout. They need to understand that, hey, this is going to be a fast-paced team. They know they're playing that Division I talent. They're kind of getting an early look of it.
Well, Yanni right there, if he can get you on his hip, he can take you to the hole, and they use you as a fulcrum. If you decide that you're going to reach, he's going to spin on you. So you're in a vulnerable position if you get on a ball handler's hip. And he took him all the way to the hole. He played him straight up. But Honecker ran 94 feet and gets a layup. Now that's impressive to be 7 foot and be able to finish.
And you talk about Horniker also being a guard, a guy who's 6'5".
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
at the three-point line too. That's something you don't see every day.
He has to. They're going to make switch. They're not. I mean to say they're going to switch 1 through 5. Both teams will switch 1 through 5.
Bayless will pass it on out. Nick Burns, 6-foot guard, recently checking in. A takeaway this time. Bad pass by the Knights. And an easy layup this time for the Wildcats. Braden Hubbard, who else? The Tulsa, Oklahoma native.
Preseason first team all WAC.
Plays like that makes sense to give that accolade there.
Yeah, no doubt.
Trying to work around the defense again. That one swatted away. And Smith denies him, running towards the paint. And talk about open shots. Well, he thought he had one, then Smith came out of nowhere.
You know, that's the deal with Division I. I don't know if anyone watching or listening has ever gone against Division I. The lanes close quicker. The passing lanes become smaller. Open shots are not open for very long.
Somehow able to pass this one. This one was falling down on the inbound, just able to get it out before time expired. Now another takeaway. We've seen that a lot here. Carrillo going on up, and it's a nice layup for the Wildcats. Now 30-13, running away with this one. The Wildcats here early with 8.5 to play in the first half.
Carrillo, a local product of Abilene Wiley. Fan favorite.
Love to see the homegrown talent, if you would. There's a three-pointer. Knocks it down. That's Tracy White, the 6-foot guard out of Grand Prairie, Texas. So gets some points on the board, ends their scoring drought. They're over 4.5 minutes off the board. Now ACU still leading by 14. And the size advantage there. We've seen the speed already early on. And the layup that time with the foul called.
They're overwhelming right now. They're watching that body off the glass, reverse layup. He's just a big human.
We want to talk about playmakers. Hubbard idolizes that right there.
Yeah.
So 32-16, chance to make it a three-point play there. You see the season numbers, one of the favorites in this game, the impact players, and he's sure making an impact here early on. Hubbard with only 4 points, though, but has a chance to be that double-digit scorer. Well, bounce is just the wrong direction for him. Just a 2-point play for Hubbard. Leading scorer for ACU. At 7 points with Van Zant. And another takeaway, we've seen that a lot. The sloppy ball handle that time by the Knights, able to get the second chance effort. And it's Mashai Hill once again. Hill now with 6 points.
Mashai, you know, I have watched, being that I'm here in Abilene, I watched them work out quite a bit.
Another block that time, sending that one out of play.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Size advantage works out.
Yeah.
How about this, 34-16, ACU out in front of Southwestern Adventist. The Knights and the Wildcats right here at the Moody Coliseum on ESPN+. Abilene, Texas, 34-16, 7.5 left to play here in the first half, and ACU, a commanding lead right now. We'll go into the line, it'll be Dory. There you see head coach. We talked about Brett Tanner early on. There's some notes about Coach Tanner, and again, just having that positive mentality. Well, you can be all positive when your team's 2-0 and looking good to start out the season.
Well, he paid his dues. I'll tell you, he worked for Danny Casper, one of the better coaches in college back in the day at Stephen F. Austin. Tanner stayed there for several years, and then when I was athletic director at McMurray, we moved to Division II. He was one of my first interviews. Thoroughly impressed with him. Then I got to work with him for 1 year over here at ACU.
And the way that he looks at his team and knows that there's a lot of veteran presence here, the way that they can operate, like turning into grown men, right? Leaving that high school side of it, now evolving. You see Doria.
You know, in this day and age of college basketball, if you can hang on 50% of your team, and I mean 50% of the good players, you're going to be okay. And Tanner's been able to do that.
And the turnovers, again, not only on the court, but the turnover in players always ends up killing the morale and that camaraderie of a team. But when you keep those guys, they want to be around here, and it seems like a well-knit unit that we see here for Abilene Christian.
Yeah.
Out of bounds that time, and Abilene Christian will keep possession.
You know, the way college basketball is these days, with the portal and the transfer rules, it's crazy. You need to have a mixer at the beginning of the year. And
ACU now working on the attack. Only 4 left to shoot on the shot clock. Over in the corner for 3. One hits right off it and right into the hands of Nick Burns. Passing on out to Doria. Again, one of the key scorers throughout the season for the Knights. Another big block and a takeaway for the Wildcats. Working out 2-on-1. Odd man numbered that time, but it doesn't matter. Using the speed once again is Zai Wright, and it's 36-18.
One thing that I don't, here we go, the scrum.
Another time the ball just mishandled by Southwestern Adventist, and ACU is taking that away from them a lot, so just trying to create better chances with the ball.
Yeah, well, they're guarding Doria really well. He's not gotten off of too many shots, maybe a half a dozen shots, and every one of them contested. He probably had his shot blocked twice. But one thing for Southwest, they need second shots. If you're going to have a chance, you can't come down the floor and go 0 for.
Well, Doria's only scoring so far has been from the free throw line. He is 0 for 3 in his shots here today. Trying to find the open target. Again, that lane closed so quickly. This one, the three-pointer, hits off the front. Just trying to get it off before that shot clock expires. 6:10 left to play here in the first half. Horniker with possession on the far side. Now working under the rim, pass on out. They work to Carrillo. Stays with it. Horniker now pressing towards the paint, working and just getting out, but a foul called.
Well, Horniker tried to take him off the dribble. He dipped his left shoulder. Watch him take his left shoulder right there. Foul. It's a good take. Good take.
So Horniker will head to the line.
Aren't a lot of college teams that have the luxury of having a 7-footer that's got a shot like that.
You know, usually when you have a guy of that height, you're doing all right with your team.
If he can play.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
You can't coach 7 foot.
Well, you know, you can put a 7-foot guy out there, but if he's a giraffe on skates, you don't want that,
there
right?
You go. Look, Bambi on ice.
Well, definitely not in the case of Cade Horniker, the 7-foot Amarillo, Texas product.
Coached by Jason Pillion, who played at Abilene Cooper.
20-point lead right now for ACU. As the Knights try to put a dent in that big deficit right now before the half expires. They'll work it around Tracy White. Going to work around the defense, and it's just really tight defense. No open lanes. They're going to have to get a shot off. Burns, with time expiring, just throws it at the rim. And ACU all alone to mess with a dunk contest. Yes, he will. That's Hubbard. Slams it down.
Yeah. It's good defense. I like to refer to that as weight room defense. Bodies flying everywhere.
Well, that's one of the tough parts you talked about. Doria just not able to get open for a whole lot of shots, and when he's your leading scorer and you have to rely on, well, what are the rest of the other guys in the court going to be able to do? You
can't name a team in the NBA or anywhere else that doesn't have a food chain. If you screw that up, the food chain, you've got a chance.
That was Kamanga who was able to get it back. A three-point effort this time from Burns. That went off the back of the rim. So now ECU once again taking over. Isaac Dye back in. Horniker. Turnaround jumper. No good. Back to Doria. Doria Like to set the tempo in the offense and see where he can get it. They played some tight defense on him here early on. The foul called that time, guarded by Lewis.
A little too tight.
They like good tight defense until that whistle gets called. That's where the problem lies.
It's not a foul till he blows the whistle.
So we'll see the inbound this time by the Knights, and A.J. Aviles trying to find an open target. There's Doria right there. Doria asking for a bit of help, maybe a screen that time, and that one looks like it went off the foot of Doria, so it's going the other way.
He's not able to shake. We've mentioned that before. He's just not able to shake whoever it is that's guarding him. And ACU right now, they're switching 1 through 5.
Nice screen that time. Lewis get a little bit of a lane, try and work. And Horniker right under the rim, but able to get a hand on it that time was Wilkins. Now let's see if the Knights can work it down court. Try and create a scoring chance, and that one's off the hand, a bit errant over on the right side of Guajardo.
Yeah.
So it seemed like they had a good takeaway, just couldn't make anything of it.
Well, that was an opportunity. That's the open space we talked about. If you can create a turnover that you can get out and run, your chances, percentage go up to shoot and make.
32% from the field for the Knights. Just a few minutes remaining in the first half. Compared to ACU with 59. Right, going back and forth with Tylen Lewis. And now Horniker will work it on out. Right back to him. Horniker for 3. The big man with a 3-pointer tipped up in the air, and ACU will keep possession. Now dive for 3. Yes, that one falls down. 43-18.
That is why they recruited Dye. He's supposed to bust zones, hit threes.
Guajardo almost lost it there. Tipped Van Zandt on the coverage. And that time Doria spin move, trying to make a really nasty type of play, but falling down hard.
He did it.
All right, 3:21 left to go here in the first half. 43-18, ACU out in front of Southwestern Adventist. We'll be back here at the Moody Coliseum on ESPN+. Back here in Abilene, Texas, Moody Coliseum, 43-18, ACU leading Southwestern Adventist with just about 3 minutes and change left to go here in the first half. When we look at these two teams, they've only met just a handful of times. It's actually been quite a while since the last time they've met up. Since 2014, ACU has claimed victory in all 3 matchups.
Yeah, and none of those games have been played in Keene. They're all played in Abilene.
That's quite a thing for them to come on out here, play quite the program with Abilene Christian. Again, outnumbered, outmatched in a way, and just trying to get the reps in. Now, their past games, and this is kind of an interesting thing to look at, the last time they played was last night, so they're not even 24 hours removed from the last time they were on the court. They played Dallas College Mountain View and had a 193 victory. So trying to play off of that quick turnover, heading on over here to the big country.
Well, they're in the National Christian College Athletic Association, and they settle. They have a national championship game in there as well. So these guys in that division they'll be a force.
We got 3 wins on the season. And we talked about the win last night against Dallas College Mountain View. Pensacola Christian they took down on November 6th, and then their first win came on Halloween against Trinity Baptist College, 81-78. So, and their only loss, they played Pensacola Christian twice already this season. There's a nice layup that time by the Wildcats, and Van Zandt, who has found himself in a good spot scoring in this first half. 9 points here today. Now Guajardo pass it on back out. Knights try and work around Doria this time. So he's got all of his points from the free throw line. Falling down the Wildcats, a little bit of contact that time, and foul called.
Good help.
Hard was Wilkins.
Watch Carrillo try to take the charge. That's changed this year. That's a 50-50 call, but this year that's going to be a block 90% of the time because the new rule is if he gathers the ball all in one motion and jumps and you're there, you have to be there before the gather.
You see Dominique Wilkins already made his first free throw.
Got a great name, doesn't he?
Absolutely. No kidding. Wilkins, very good shooter this season, up in double digits, averaging points per game, just over 10.
I remember Dominique Wilkins in the NBA.
It's high praise right there when you share that name. Alberto pass it on out. Dye, this time the corner three, and knocks that one down. How about this from the freshman here early on? And you talk about the high praise they have for Dye, and he's showing out here today.
Yeah, he's the closeouts on him are a little different today than what they are in workout. So those are maybe a split second longer to look at what's going on.
Chase for this one. Hubbard, nice bounce pass to Dye with the dunk attempt. Can't get it, but there is his teammate and Mashai Hill to throw that one up there. Under 2 minutes to play, and 50-burger already for Abilene Christian here in the first half.
This has been a really good half, I think, for both teams because Southwest came out and didn't quit. I hate to – you have to state the obvious. They are outgunned, outmanned. There you go.
There's Doria's first made layup. We haven't seen him get points
but
except for the free throw line.
ACU has stayed the course. We talked about that. They've not gotten into bad habits.
That's one of the things you look at with this game, and I really like the way that Southwestern Adventist went out there and started, right?
Yeah.
They started fast, those open shots, the open lanes, they looked really good, and it seemed like this one could be a little bit longer than we would have seen kind of the blowout. I don't know if people were expecting that big blowout to start. It might be a competitive battle, but ACU has kind of ran away with things here at the end of the first half.
Well, bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah, that's and you said it best. I mean, kind of outgunned when it comes to playing a Division I talent. The way that ACU, the pedigree is there, the coaching, it's all a big game changer, and we're seeing it here. You know, the numbers show it, the score shows it right now. 50-23 advantage for the Wildcats.
Well, everyone's gotten into the game in the first half. But Southwest, their only chance was to come out and try to hit ACU in the mouth, and they did. They had a brief lead.
And with Guajardo, the way that he started out, now Dye once again has made a couple three-pointers and a nice tip in that time by Rich Smith.
I think the longer the season goes, here we go, pull up. There you go. That's their game right there.
That's the open shot, not letting a lot of time tick down. A.G. Aviles on that jumper.
The longer this season goes for the Wildcats, this kid with the ball right here, Rich Smith, the more valuable he's going to be.
Warniker thought about setting the screen, a little fake that time. He'll take it to the lane instead. Drive it home. Under a minute now to play, 45 seconds before the half expires.
You know, you and I talked about having a 7-footer as a luxury. Having a 7-footer that can catch, that you don't have to nickname Teflon, that's even better.
Aviles for three, can't go. Warnick has done a really good job. They can run this one out if they need to, get the final shot. Dye will possess it under 10 seconds left to shoot. See if they get the final points of this half. And going towards the lane, nice layup that time. Just getting it on out now. Doria, half-court heave, not going to count. And that will take us to the half. A 56-25 point advantage ACU has over Southwestern Adventist. It's been a good look so far. Why the Wildcats are. We're going to send it on over to our sideline reporter, Josiah Wanells. He's already here with head coach Brett Tanner. Josiah, take it away.
Head coach, you guys had a slow start there right out of the gate, but you get things together. Now you have a massive lead heading into the locker room. What was the spark for you?
Well, I think we made some subs, right? I was concerned about, playing an early tip on a weekday like this. Obviously, empty gym when we start. I knew that was going to happen. And I warned our guys all day this team was going to come to play. And we didn't come out of the gates. So I put the starters on the bench. I put some guys that were ready to go, and I thought they did a good job. They brought some energy. And so those are the guys I played the majority of the half.
On the other side of the ball, you hold Ruben Doria, one of their top scorers, to 7 points. What have you guys done to slow him down this afternoon?
Well, we got out in passing lanes. We didn't do it the first 4 minutes, but after that, we got out in passing lanes. We started playing the way that we're supposed to play, and that makes it hard for them. So we're just doing what we do. We just didn't do that in the first 4 minutes.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Back to you guys.
All right, Josiah, we appreciate it. And we head to the break at the half. ACU with a big advantage, 56-25. Stay tuned. Halftime entertainment here, and we'll be back for the second half on ESPN+. Lopsided affair here in Abilene. The Wildcats lead the Knights right now at the half by a score of 56-25. ACU kind of playing the game that we thought they would play. Yeah. Welcome back to the broadcast booth. James Triley, Ron Holmes. And Ron, we look at what we've seen so far. Nothing that we didn't expect. It's been kind of the game that we thought that was going to be played, but we saw that early push from the Knights, and Coach Tanner said it best. He said, listen, I had to make a change, take the starters out and put the subs in.
Yeah, and he's notorious for doing that. If you don't do things the way, I think any coach worth his salt's going to do that with anybody. No one's above the whatever you've got going on in your dressing room and your chemistry. But that was what we talked about before the game. Is don't fall trap to sloppy play, even though you have a 29-point lead. You're still ACU. You're still this dressing room, and you still have your standards that you have to maintain.
Now you're looking at the standards that ACU's been playing. The scoreboard reflects that. We take a look at the stats and what we've seen so far. Again, Doria with 7 points, majority of those coming from the free throw line, but Joseph Van Zandt has done well, the leading scorer right now for the Wildcats.
Well, this is the perfect game for Joseph. He draws the other team's stud, and if someone else decides on the other team that they want to be the stud, they take him off of the original person he was supposed to guard, and put him on plan B. He's plan A, plan B. He's the alphabet and an enzyme. He can do nearly anything, but given that he scored 9 points, that's a huge plus.
Now it's been looking like a very good matchup between the Wildcats. We saw it very early. Again, we saw a good push from Southwestern Adventist in the way that they went and played, but again, that kind of died off. ACU kind of figured that out a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, they got in the passing lanes. Coach Tanner alluded to that. Southwest has got to come back and hit the open jump shot now.
All right, Southwestern Adventist again trailing right now, just trying to figure things out. And the highlights that we've seen so far in the first half is, again, really been ACU in the way that they've gone out and played.
Well, they've gone all the way to the hole like they're supposed to do, and then the open jump shot was one they had to make. Now, we talked about the 7-footer running the floor. Everything that ACU puts up, generally speaking, has been in the paint. There hadn't been too many turnovers. But Southwest has shot the ball fairly well when they were open, and so is ACU.
Southwestern Adventist 36% from the field compared to ACU 62. Again, the lopsiding number. We go to the second half here in just a moment. We'll be back. It's the Wildcats, and that's a Knights, and it's right here on ESPN+. The Wildcats leading the Knights right now, 56-25 as we're about to start second half. James Triley, Ron Holmes, and again, we look at the lopsided numbers that ACU has over Southwestern Adventist, and look at the halftime adjustments that need to be said. Again, both coaches knowing what needs to be done here, and obviously you see just kind of what needs to happen for the Knights.
Well, if you're ACU, there's not a whole lot of things that you want to change, if anything at all. You just got to stay focused, and you've got to finish out the way you started. You know, it's like referees. If they don't call it in the first 2 minutes, they shouldn't call it in the last 2 minutes. But you can fix that when you're playing the game. The high percentage shots that Southwest needs to hit needs to come quick and early and often.
Saw a lot of turnovers there as well. Whenever we had Southwestern Adventist go out there and try and create the scoring opportunities. They worked a bit too quick, and the passing was a little bit sloppier than they wanted. They have to be a little bit finer tuned whenever they're going out there and trying to play offense.
Well, yeah, instead of instead of passing when you want to pass, you might want to take one more dribble and get them to step into a lane. That's what you would emphasize that as a coach is if they're in the passing lane, take one more dribble.
Coach Woolridge, the seventh-year coach for Southwestern Adventist. Probably a highly spirited talk to his team during the halftime intermission.
They might have had an altar call. Little zone.
Well, ACU will get things started here as we start the second half with a big lead. And already, 11 seconds in, it's Rich Smith putting some points on the board to extend that lead even more.
See, I thought we'd see a zone to start the game. But they took advantage of it, found an open man.
And McCowan working around, nice spin move that time, dumping it off to Guajardo and driving towards a lane. Can't get a clean shot that time. He had two defenders in his way, and again, not a clean lane for him to take that shot, but just trying to get something going for this Knights squad.
Yeah, and we talked about that as well. If you're Southwest, you need second shots. You need a scrum. You need to play English-style football under the basket.
Nice low pass to
That's
Hubbard
too easy.
this time.
Too easy.
It's one of those things, and the way that Hubbard's out there playing, we know that he's going to be a playmaker when he's on the court.
Well, if you crowd him, he's going to use you as a fulcrum. He's going to spin off of you.
Or again, really tight defense against Doria, and to the smile on the face from Rich Smith as well, almost toying with him in a way, and that one goes down and look at a trip. Doria, we saw at one point, you know, he was only getting points from the free throw line, and now
watch his foot, watch his feet. He takes him in there, and he's got great. There you go, the Euro step.
A little bit of respect there from Smith and Doria.
Oh, yeah.
Well, battle-tested opponents here today. So three-point play there for Doria and the Knights, 60-28. Spin move, but ran into his own screen that time. Pass it on out to him. That one works in favor of ACU and get it on out to Mashai Hill.
I believe if I was Southwest, I might call a timeout and fix my zone. That's two layups.
It's one of those things ACU can get on a run very quickly. They've done that before. Now McCowan will pass on out Guajardo. That one turned over. Another one of those errant passes, but turned over the other way. Guajardo coughed it up, gets it right back. They pass it on out. Doria over on the side and working the contact against Hill.
See, I think last night we'll see shots. They took shots like this right here, but they close out too quick, and they have to go inside, which is something I would advise against to start the game. You've got to look for the jump shot. So one more dribble.
That's right. That's right. McCowan will inbound here, and it was a tight lane to try and get that one in over on the corner. He had a lot of defensive side. The alley-oop layup can't go. That would have been an impact play there, and falling hard to the ground that time is Lewis. That's a little thing to light the crowd up a bit.
Lewis is a fine player, really fine prospect. I look at him as a freshman. And you need to be here in person. If you've not been to an ACU game, come out and just watch one game. He does not have an 18-year-old body. that looks like he's been at Planet Fitness.
The 6-foot freshman out of Nashville, Tennessee. Again, one of these freshmen looking like veterans, crashing hard that time, Lewis, and Doria can't get the handle on it all the way to the lane. Now they pass it up ahead to Lewis, going for the layup against contact from Guajardo, and makes it look easy.
Yeah, all layups, no jump shots. That's not what you want if you're Southwest.
It's crashing through the defense and kind of just slicing right through like it's not even there. The way that ACU has been playing this game so far. Saw Doria was open. He kind of took his eyes off the ball. Now allowing for a bit of a scrum. Now ACU will take it the other way. There's Hubbard, another layup attempt. Second chance effort this time. And the defense, how about a third chance? Can we get a fourth? And we can. I think you had multiple defenders come in and give the effort for Joseph Scott.
Yeah.
And he finally was able to let one fall.
Yeah, it's like being at a cattle auction. Hey, line them up. What are you going to give me for them?
66-28, Abilene Christian out in front right now.
No, in all seriousness, Scott's got to make those shots because he's going to, next week, at his size, they're counting on him to be a producer inside in the paint. He's got to make those shots.
And they talked about next week, and foul there, Doria against Lewis. Stephen F. Austin, Texas State, the next two big matchups to look at.
A big week. On the road.
On the road even, you're right. Taking another look at this last one again, Doria and Lewis, a little bit of contact there.
I like his hair.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I like anyone's hair. if you see
At
me.
this point,
when we go back on camera,
right,
you'll say,
yeah.
well, I like anybody that's got hair.
Yeah.
I'm
is
all
that
for you.
Is that the next do you're going for? Trying to get that one going next year. All right.
Yeah,
26-27. Ron Holmes will be rocking the Tylen Lewis haircut. Rebound that time as Dye will take it cross court. Carrillo now work one-on-one, work around the defense, pass it back on out. Dye again for three. Yes.
Yeah.
That one will fall. 69-28.
Yeah, you can see that he's not being pressured on those shots, and it's just too fine a shooter.
Now it's showing right now. Abilene Christian out in front. And a timeout called. 16:04 left to play in this one. And ACU again just, like you said, keeping the status quo. They're doing exactly that. We'll take a short timeout, come right back. Abilene Christian out in front over Southwestern Adventist. We're here at the 325 at the Moody Coliseum on ESPN+. Back here in Abilene, Texas, ACU out in front of Southwestern Adventist, 69-28, 16 minutes left to play. Timeout coming to an end. ACU is finishing up here on the broadcast booth, and we'll look at Southwestern Adventist and see what they have coming up. UT Rio Grande Valley, it's a big matchup. A lot of road games coming up for the Knights.
Yeah, some of they're in the National Christian College Athletic Association, so with the exception of UT Rio Grande, those would all be NCCAA games.
I mean, this is a talented team. Make no mistake, don't let the score reflect Southwestern Adventist and their ability. I mean, this is a team that can go out there and compete. It's one of those tough things. You play a Division I level, you're playing way up in your competition level that you're used to, just trying to get the exposure, trying to get all the playing time in, and also trying to work through the mistakes. We've seen a lot of mistakes from the Knights so far, but they've found a way trying to make things go. We'll take another short timeout. We'll be right back. It is a 69-28 lead for ACU. We'll be back on ESPN+. Back here at the Moody Coliseum. ACU leading 69-28, about 15.5 left to play. We looked at Southwestern Adventist and what their schedule looks like coming up for ACU. And we did talk about some of their big games that they have, and Stephen F. Austin, Texas State, some big ones coming up, and they're on the road up until we get closer to the Thanksgiving side of it. It's going to be quite a while before we're back here in the Moody Coliseum.
Yeah, well, that November 14th game, if you're in the area of Nacogdoches, circle that, go see that. That is a rivalry game. These games, the last, I'm going to say half dozen, have been decided by the last possession.
So it should be a
there or here.
Yeah, highly contested matchups there, SFA and ACU. Play resumes, ACU starts out with the ball, and a timeout taken there, 69-28. Wildcats with a huge advantage. Southwestern Adventist just trying to find ways to perfect their craft. Three-point effort this time by Wright. Rims around and into the hands that time of Aviles. See McCowan over on the far side now, try to work under the rim, and that's a nice layup.
Wow.
Working around that defense, that's something they haven't done a whole lot of in creating scoring chances, and that's a bright spot if you're Coach Wooldridge.
Yeah, he took the baseline away from the Wildcats. That was nice.
And McCowan had a hand on that one, but it was tipped right into the Wildcats' hands. There's Lewis this time, pass it on out. Carrillo thought about taking a shot, he'll pass it on out instead to his teammate. Now Dye with a two-point jumper, and that one stays in play, thankfully for Wright.
Sits on a little high screen action here.
Foul called there. Yeah. So that was Evan Lopez, a little bit too much contact with Lewis.
You get a reset of the shot clock back to 20 seconds. That's good time to run a little high screen and roll, something off the ball.
And trying to work on their game and
Yeah.
evolve for some of the very tough matchups that they'll have going up. It'll be high-octane offense. Another three-point effort misses by Wright. And will go out of bounds. ACU will keep possession, though.
Oh,
No,
switch it.
Yeah. They had at one point where it
Yeah.
looked like ACU was going to get that one back. Rich Smith was ready to inbound. But it will go the other way for the Knights. Ron, you had talked about that huddle and kind of what Coach Tanner, you know, you've been in those huddles before, you know, in games like this. Kind of what is Brett Tanner looking at right now and talking about with his team and trying to keep the spirits going, trying to keep it lighthearted?
Well, if there are any board members in the bleachers, you pretend that it's a pretty serious conversation, even though you're up by 40. But what he's really talking about is gathers the assistant coaches around, grab a grease board, and just look at them and be very blunt with them. So, fellas, pizza, chicken, or hamburger. That's what you do.
Well, and that's one of those things, and you know, you're still trying to go out there and finish this contest,
Yeah.
but also, you know what, maybe the post-game meal is on the minds of some at that point.
Well,
More than likely those who
the
aren't
trainer.
in the game. Yeah, the trainer. Yeah, let's say that. Doria with a nice jumper that
yeah,
time.
real
We're
nice.
starting to see Doria in the second half progress kind of
Yeah.
the scorer that we saw in the stats, and he's really showing out here more often. Doria now in double digits in points with 10. Fight for the ball this time. A little 3-on-1 outnumbered that time was Scott. The foul called.
You know, one of the worst things you can do if you're 6'8" is to bring it down with someone that's 5'8" can play with you. That's why you've got to keep the ball above your shoulders. Catch it above your shoulders, keep it above your shoulders, regroup, get your feet together, get your footwork down, and then go back up strong.
Knights will come out trying to work quick. It's Aviles this time. Aviles he's got the ball in his hands. He has worked off some really tough shots out of the defense to create space against him. That time, he's working quick and working around it. He was trying to take it away from Zy Wright, but it goes out of bounds.
Oh, he doesn't quit.
No.
He does not quit.
I know Coach Wooldridge has got to love that, and
Yeah.
a lot of his players on this team have that same sentiment. The way that Andre Guajardo Mencia, the way that he goes out there and plays, we saw that in the very early going.
Well, you know, they came into the game 3-1. This is an exhibition for them. They're going to walk out of here 3-1. So, they have a really nice team in their league. And they're going to do some damage this year.
Yeah, the record reflects their style of play, the way that they can go out there and compete in that conference. ACU, very good as well. There's Dye for three. The bench will erupt just a little bit as Dye continuing to do Isaac Dye things.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to shoot a 2. I think he's going to shoot all threes.
Well, at this point, why not? The way that he's going out there and his three-point ball looks very good here today. Why try anything else? If you can knock it down from 3 with confidence like the way that he's doing, why change anything?
Well, yeah, I'm with you. You know, Dye's shooting against someone in a different colored jersey. That makes a bit of difference right here. It's easy to find someone like that. You go looking for him as well. Long pass, short pass, second pass, third pass, whatever.
Nice spin move, but can't keep control this time. And Smith, it was on the other side where ACU had possession. Guajardo went up for the layup on the left side of the rim, but that one just falls off and right in the hands of Smith.
Yeah.
Nice job also on that speed to take it cross court and try and create the opportunity to score. Now Smith will head to the line. Big advantage right now for ACU. They look to grow it. That one is just off to the right side there. Look at the numbers on the season for Smith.
You know, Doria is going to get his 21 probably. The damage has been done. He'll settle in and get his, I'm sure.
Well, Doria right now with 12. That seems like one of those things. He's the leading scorer.
Yeah.
Isaac Dye leading scorer with 15.
Has Dye hit a? I don't think he's hit a 2.
Again, one of those things you look at. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
No, don't.
There's no reason to go for something if you could find the way to get the points. There's Doria crashing hard to the floor and one. So you talk about him getting to that 21-point margin. It seems like if he's going to take shots like that, go for the contact, it's going to be an easy day for him to do so.
Well, that's going to be a video cut that Tanner's going to use because Dye was not in position, in help position. He was on the other side of the lane hugging his guy. He should have been in the paint ready to contest or draw a charge.
Chance to make it a three-point play here for Doria. A Houston, Texas product, a junior, a Southwestern Adventist. ACU now goes back on the attack. 40-point advantage this time. Trying to keep with it. Now Doria and the offense working the other way. They'll pass it on out to Burns, who's quickly guarded by Carrillo. They'll pass it on out. Steal by Lewis. Oh, no. Two-hander that time by Lewis.
Yeah, you got careless with the ball. If you're Southwest, don't be careless with the ball. Take care of the ball.
ACU is going to make you pay, and we just saw it right there.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, it's one of those games where it's, again, out of hand on the scoreboard, but ACU still working quite nice. Three-point effort misses there, but right there on the rebound that time is Lopez.
And they, again, the second shot, which is, there hasn't been any tonight.
Almost a takeaway there by Lewis, and it is a takeaway that goes into the hands of Burns. Now we'll see Andre Guajardo get on out to Tracy White. Trying to work it around the key. We haven't seen that three-pointer work a whole lot in the second half, and drawing the foul on the jumper over on the far side.
Well, this is their game. This is how they win 100-92 last night.
Timeout taken here. We'll take one as well. 77-39. Bringing it down in Lewis here on ESPN+. Back here at the Moody Coliseum, 77-39. ACU out in front of Southwestern Adventist with just about 11 minutes left to play in this one. Again, a lopsided affair between these two teams. We take a look, again, we're just getting started into the season. Let's take a look at the preseason coaches poll, and there you see Abilene Christian ranked right now 3 in how they have the preseason. Looks down how well they expect to do. California Baptist, obviously, in that top spot.
Yeah, it's a tough league. Utah Valley was so good last year. California Baptist probably has the player of the year, but to be picked 3rd in that league right there is pretty good. They were picked 4th last year, and I think sure enough finished 4th. So that's probably, prognosticators are pretty true to their vote.
And UT Arlington in that 4th spot, again, someone that plays with ACU very well in a lot of different sports.
Yeah.
The way they've gone out there and contested a lot of different games. Free throw made there by Southwestern Adventist. Just under 11 minutes left to play. 37-point lead for ACU. Foul called here. Conference play gets down to it. It's going to be quite nice to see how ACU stacks up. They'll start off on New Year's Day against Utah Tech.
You remember last year they had some really fantastic games with UTA, and then UTA caught fire down the stretch, going into the tournament, and I actually did pretty good. Although Utah Valley ended up playing Grand Canyon. But with Grand Canyon gone, Seattle gone, chances have enhanced.
Now, the one thing with UT Arlington that I've found so interesting and being able to cover them for a few years, they just trying to find that consistency. They had a lot of waves that didn't trend in the right direction, but finishing the season strong allowed them to get into position to try and make a push towards that conference championship, but they couldn't quite pull it all together. The strength was in the numbers in the rest of the conference, and that's why they didn't end up having a rematch for the conference championship against GCU like they did back in the 23-24 season. Nice scoring there by ACU. They continue put up points. See if Andre Guajardo gets more points on the board. Again, he had himself quite the hot start. The defense very much ready for him. Double covered that time by Scott and Horniker. A foul called here.
You know, that's good offense by Southwest. They're settling into what they did last night in Dallas with that win, and this is why they're 3-1.
And they make no mistake, they are a very quick team. The talent level is certainly there.
Yeah, it's guard-oriented.
Now we'll see Evan Lopez, the freshman forward, head to the line. A three-point play. 79-44. Got 10 minutes left to go. ACU trying to work the foundation here, and Carrillo goes to the line. The bench erupts on that layup. That was not an easy play. That was some tough defense played by the Knights. There's a three-point chance by the Knights. That one misses. Nice rebound, though, that time. Eric Lucero. And the jumper from Guajardo. Again, it's such a smooth shot.
It is smooth.
Unless he's contested, it's hard to find him missing the net whenever he ends up getting the ball in his hands. There's 2-on-1. Turnover that time. We were talking about the turnovers during the break. We'll talk about him here in just a moment. We'll see if Tracy White get a scoring chance. They're able to keep possession with it. Three-pointer once again. Guajardo makes ACU pay after the turnover.
There's going to be some film work done tomorrow.
I think at this point, the way that we've seen kind of a battle back from Southwestern Adventist, still a big deficit to look at. Three-pointer once again this time, and who else but Isaac Dye. And he's up to 20 points here tonight, or here today.
Isaac is lighting them up. Now that's why they recruited him.
Young player playing like a seasoned vet. And there's the block that time, crashing hard to the ground, looking for possibly a whistle. Doesn't get it. The strength is in favor of ACU. Now Wright gets back, or excuse me, Tracy White gets back. Carrillo faked him with the jumper. Now Horniker will pass it on out to Scott. Spin move and gets the layup.
Good passing.
Well-crafted offense there.
Yeah, that's good passing in the paint. If you can pass post to post, you're going to win a lot of games.
86-49, ACU with the advantage. Almost into the hands that time of Wright. But Guajardo's right there. One-on-one defense, nice jumper, and Guajardo makes it look easy. Has now got him at 9 points on the afternoon.
Y'all need to watch Tracy White for Southwest. He's got one white sneaker, one black sneaker.
You know, it's a rarity. I haven't seen that one before. That's a new one. And
yeah, they're usually all kinds of colors.
And crashing hard to the ground for the contact. Lopez, that's big body on big body that time.
No doubt.
Lopez and Horniker. We'll take a break. It is 86-51, 7.5 left to play here at the Moody Coliseum on ESPN+. .51 lead ACU has over Southwestern Adventist. Talked about Isaac Dye, the way that he's gone out there and played, and our very own sideline reporter, Josiah Wanell, has a story about Isaac.
It's a name you've heard called multiple times tonight. 20 points from Isaac Dye so far, but it was really important for Brett Tanner before he left the press conference back on the Omaha game to make a point to shout out the freshman. He said, I just want to say this before I get out of here. That kid comes in, he's sitting there, he's cold, and he comes in, he knocks down that big three. He said, guys, Isaac, he's a winner. He's going to make a play. We need somebody to go in there and do something for us. And what did he do? He goes in there and he does his job. Super impressed right there from head coach Brett Tanner. And tonight, there's a lot more to be impressed by. Back to you guys.
Yeah, Josiah, there's a lot to be impressed about the way that Isaac Dye has gone out there and played. He's in 20 points here today in this game. It's been phenomenal the way that he's gone out there and played. Again, the freshman looking like he's at a senior level. He's in a mind of his own, a game of his own, anytime the ball is in his hands, and he just kind of got that mindset.
Yeah, he's done a really nice job. A little zone action right now. 2-3 zone.
That's what we've been looking for all game.
Well, they started out in the 1-3-1 to start the second half and gave up 3 layups.
So we'll see if this changes the pace a little bit. Dye a pass on out to Hubbard. Hubbard for 3, and that one knocked down. for the Wildcats, 89-52.
Well, they really moved the ball.
We'll see if Southwestern Adventist can do the same. After the timeout over the offensive side, Lopez will get it on out to Guajardo. An open three-pointer. I'm going to say a foul here.
Yeah, screen.
Screen foul this time, a little banged up. So that was Zy Wright.
Yeah,
they're looking for that contact.
Yeah, transfer. They're looking for big things out of Zy this year. He's a nice inside-outside guy, which you need to have a lot of that in the WAC.
Right, a 6'5" Georgia product, like you said, the transfer. Big aspirations for a lot of guys on this Wildcat team. Howard, obviously one of them that does so well when the ball is in his hands, and he gets a chance to make it a three-point play after that.
You know, Hubbard last year, it took him probably a little over a third of the season to figure out where he was supposed to be, when he was supposed to be, what was a good shot, what was a bad shot, what's acceptable. He sold out on the defensive end and became such a rock. And then all of a sudden, down towards the end of the year, he starts scoring. And what a huge plus that's been.
It's a huge plus for ACU and something they'll look to take into the conference play here in the next few months when they get there. 92-52, 40-point advantage back for Abilene Christian. And now Southwestern Adventist, nice bounce pass that time, will pass it across, trying to get it here to Nick Burns. Burns trying to lay up, just falls a bit short. They get the air ball chance from the crowd that is here. Turned over the other way. And a dunk, no, they're going to take the layup. Easy that time, Eric Lucero, the 6'3" forward, the freshman out of Cleburne, Texas.
He didn't try to gather his steps to dunk the ball. I knew that was a layup from the get-go.
You know, you see that one, you got a clear lane ahead of you. You never know if someone's going to try, but I think it was a business decision going there, knowing he didn't have the steps in front of him, is going to take the easy points.
Coach, I'd be screaming no. I need the point. I don't need the ESPN highlight.
They certainly got that. We saw the big two-handed dunk earlier by Tylen Lewis. Seen just a couple here so far in this one, both from ACU. Shy Hill on the ground, able to pass that one out. Now Carrillo, this one called here against ACU. We got 5:46 left to play in this one. ACU pretty much playing it out all for good measure, just trying to perfect a few things. And
well, one of the things they need to perfect that you alluded to is, as far as picking things up, cleaning it a little bit, is Mashaw needs to catch that ball from the get-go. Take care of it.
Yeah, trying to take care of the ball. The turnovers have been a big story in this one. Obviously more in favor of the Knights. They've turned the ball over a lot. Another one.
Yeah, he needs to catch that ball.
I don't know if that's a jinx that I just had right there after another turnover, but I'll tell you this. We've just seen in spots where they need to be a little bit more tighter in their passes, a little bit more clean.
Yeah, it's hard to maintain your intensity when you're up by 40. First of all, but that's one of the little things. If you can do the little things, you'll be great in the big things.
Yeah, it's going to make a difference if you're Southwestern Adventist in those big conference games, if you're ACU in those big WAC matchups and trying to play a team, especially when they go against Stephen F. Austin. That one's going to be a big matchup where they cannot lose that turnover battle. Here's Dye with a three-pointer, but for an opportunity there on the second chance layup. Falling to the ground hard, ACU, and so go in favor this time of the Knights.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just hard to maintain your intensity, as I mentioned. But still, when we throw you the ball, you've got to catch the ball. I used to have drills when I coached. I just called it the bad pass drill. I just throw the pass at their knees or their feet. And they got to where they could catch it. I didn't want them to try to score. I just wanted you to catch it.
And I think for that drill to work so well, I think that bodes very well to these teams that, hey, you know what, you might not be in the best position to get their really good pass, and they're able to maneuver and try and turn nothing into something there. See Guajardo make those free throws.
Yeah, I think sometimes even a kid like Mashai, he knows the ball's coming his way. He's already to putting the move on before he catches it and secures it. Carrillo did a nice job coming off the high screen right there.
My goodness, you want to talk about quick scoring. Carrillo wasting no time on that one, and now the jumper. Aviles has done that a lot. He does not waste any time when he sees that lane over on the outside. He goes out there and just makes that shot look easy.
Yeah, it was smooth. I look at these guys sometimes and I think at my age, I wouldn't want to play them in church league games. They're just too smooth.
That is a nice three-pointer that time. They talked about Zai Wright and how
Yeah.
much of a focus he's going to be the transfer for ACU.
Maybe he'll be Hubbard-esque and figure it out about a third of the way through the year.
We got two players that play with a skill level such as Hubbard. Look out anybody who plays them. There's Aviles. That one falls a bit short, but luckily for the Knights, able to get that one out. It's Lopez back to him. So another chance here to try and create more scoring. Guajardo once again. That was a tight pass. Carrillo was right there. And a little floater this time that can't go right into the hands of Wright. You said you didn't want to get in any church league with any of these guys. You don't want me on the court at all. I'll tell you that right now. That is going to be a bad day overall.
Yeah.
We talk about our playing abilities. We'll stay in the broadcast booth, and looks like we're going to take a timeout as well. It is 97-58, under 4 minutes to play here in the Moody Coliseum. You're watching this one on ESPN+. Back here on ESPN Plus, it's 97-58. Abilene Christian out in front of Southwestern Adventist in the lopsided game, but we've seen a little bit of a fight in this Knights squad, the way they've gone out there and played. And Doria, again, not a huge high-scoring game, but he's still gone out there and performed the way that we've seen Andre Guajardo and his points. He's able to put together a nice ball game as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stats during the timeout. They're down by 39, I believe, if my math is correct. But obviously they've not quit. But they only have 18 turnovers, and they've had a lot of possessions. I would normally look in the newspaper to see this score and think, well, they must have had 30, 35 turnovers. No, only 18. You know, clean game.
Yeah, and a clean game, if you would, compared to what it could be, right?
Yeah.
That's the different story. The ACU team categories, they lead in just about every one of them in a positive light. Their points in the paint have been well. We haven't seen a whole lot of scoring chances in the paint for Southwestern Adventist here today. Just stepping out of bounds that time as Scott tried to keep it in play, but it's going to go the other way for the Knights. 3.5 left to go. And this is an exhibition game for Southwestern Adventist, like you had mentioned earlier. This will not go. They will still leave here 3-1. ACU will improve to a 3-0 start on the season, and got some numbers on that. There's a three-pointer. That one shorted that time. Scott coming down with the rebound. And again, you look at that, the last time the Wildcats started 3-0 was the 2020-2021 season, where they won their first 5 games and went on to beat Texas in the NCAA tournament. So if you look at that, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you're saying you look at those numbers, you're saying there's a chance.
Well, we're looking for omens if we're the Wildcats.
Had some good things go their way. The coaching's been good. The positivity has been there as well, especially if you keep on winning. So they're going to try to do that. But like we talked about, that Stephen F. Austin matchup coming up on the 14th, that one's going to be a tough one. And I think it's going to tell a bigger story about what this ACU squad is built of.
Well, I think Coach Tanner was pleased with his schedule. Getting to play Nebraska-Omaha early in the year, a team that made it to the first round of the NCAAs before they got knocked out by St. John's. But that was a great win, 73-71 the other night. They needed to regroup and get this one.
Warnaker with a tough drive under the rim. Able to get that one, 99-58. ACU out in front. It's coming up on triple digits.
You know, if I were Coach Tanner, I'd be pleased if they didn't lose their focus. Now, they had 2 or 3 minutes of sloppy play, but you also had not the greatest chemistry with freshmen mixed in with experienced players.
One thing I like there, even in this game, the way it's played out, the score being one-sided, Warnaker's still playing a very aggressive style of ball, the way that he drove to the basket that time. That's a nice jumper up there for Southwestern Adventist. That one's Brandon Choi, the 6-foot junior out of Houston, Texas, from Cypress Springs High School. Under 2 minutes to play. ACU just trying to run this one out. Foul called. So it goes down hard to the floor, driving towards the basket.
That was a good take off the dribble. They've gotten away from passing the ball now. I think they're just trying to run the clock, run some clock. You can run the clock by passing the ball or dribbling it out, but I prefer to pass it.
Well, Carrillo will go to the line here. First time heading to the line today. Got the freshman 5'10" guard out of Abilene Wiley, hometown product.
He ought to have his own section here.
I think that's
I think the Carrillo family and the Carrillo fans, Carrillo crazies.
I don't mind it. We'll have to get some input throughout the season if that's going to happen. The freshmen
find
already
a sponsor, get some T-shirts.
Yeah, we're going to see exactly how it's going to work. Carrillo, only a freshman, but has aspirations of playing at a high level, and he's already there. Wait, he goes out there and plays. It's hitting the triple-digit mark, 100 to 60, 40-point advantage here for the Wildcats as they look to trim that just a little bit in the nights. Trying to work it around Carrillo that time. That one tipped out. That's Caleb Thompson and company. Jason Victoria also checked in. Some guys we didn't see throughout the game, getting secondary players in. And Dye gets the inbound there to Carrillo. Again, trying to wind that clock down at this point.
I think that's why there was no call.
That's a smart decision at that point.
Yeah, let him play.
A little hold, but at the same time, you're down to your last 63 seconds now. Three-pointer. That one looks clean. Brandon Choi checking into the game recently and making the most of it. 102 to 63. Final minute. Now here at the Moody Coliseum. In the hands of Isaac Dye, who's been impressive. Able to hear from him after the conclusion of this game. Josiah Wanell. Warnick doing a really good job as well in the final few seconds. Quick three-pointer again. That one just hits off that back rim. And now they can pretty much just wind this one down. Shot clock comes off. And dribble this one out.
Yeah, the dribble this one out. Honecker's drunk. That doesn't happen if he didn't catch it. That's why he's got good hands. We need to catch the ball first.
Chipping down at 10 seconds, but Abilene Christian will improve to a 3-0 record. Again, we talked about the stat earlier. The last time they were 3-0, that was the 2021 season. Won their first 5 and went on to the NCAA tournament. The Wildcats can celebrate a victory. 104 to 63. ACU takes down Southwestern Adventist. This 3 o'clock matchup that they had to kind of get ready for. It's not going to be the first they see, and Coach Tanner knows that they need to get ready for a matchup at this time.
Yeah, the conference games coming up pretty soon, but big games next week.
Yeah, should be something to look forward to. Again, the Stephen F. Austin game coming up. That'll be very exciting to look at. We'll hear in just a moment from our player of the game. It was a good showing we've seen from this ACU squad. It's everything you expect to see is that. It's been really good to look at, and the way that ACU's gone out there and played.
Yeah, let me guess who the player of the game's going to be.
Well, we're going to go right to our sideline. Josiah Wanell with our player of the game. Josiah, what do you got for us?
Hey, thanks, guys. All right. All you know is how to win. 3-0 as a Wildcat. How does it feel to win with these boys right now?
It feels great. We just win together, lose together. We know the work we put in, and we're not surprised by success. Just thankful to be here. Yeah.
An offensive explosion tonight. 20 points for you, 6 three-pointers. What was the spark tonight that allowed you to have such a big offensive explosion?
Just my teammates trust me, that we build each other up each and every day. And then just my identity in Christ. I'm able to go out, play with freedom, because I know whether or not I play well or play bad, it doesn't change what he did for me on the cross.
You're the freshman. You're the new guy. Yeah, how have these guys welcomed you into this culture as you're the new guy?
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Hey, you're the new guy. You're the freshman. How have those guys, the guys that are yelling in your ear, how have they welcomed you in and made you feel a part of this program?
I mean, they've just pushed me to work hard each and every day. They've shown me the ropes. They've just shown me how to be great. they've just been great leaders and mentors every step of the way.
20 points for Isaac Dye. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Josiah. We appreciate it. It was a really good showing, the way that they've gone out there in ACU. They're led by one of their freshmen as a player of the game. Let's take a look at our final stats as well. And Ron, we'll go to you first. What stuck out here? Obviously, the score being what it